It started with a sound I couldn't quite explain, not a voice exactly, not at first, but something softer, like the breath of wind against my ear, only the air in my room was still. I remember lying in bed half asleep when I heard it. A whisper, low, broken, and yet somehow clear. It said my name. At first, I thought it was the neighbors. The walls in this old apartment were thin, and sometimes I could hear muffled conversations through the vents. But this wasn't coming from next door. It was closer, too close. I turned on the lamp beside my bed, and the light spilled across the small room. Everything looked normal, the chair in the corner, the stack of books, the cracked window. But the sound was gone, only silence, the kind that makes your heart beat louder in your own ears. The next night, it came again. This time, it said something I couldn't quite understand. The whisper was right next to me, like someone kneeling beside the bed, their lips almost touching my ear. I froze. Every muscle in my body went tight. I didn't move, didn't breathe, waiting for it to stop. It didn't. The whisper stretched out, low and wet, like words being dragged through water, and then I caught one clear phrase, "Don't open your eyes." I don't know how long I stayed there, eyes shut tight, body shaking beneath the blanket, but I didn't open them. I couldn't. When morning came, I told myself it was just a dream. That's what made sense. I was tired, stressed, maybe half dreaming. The mind can do strange things when it's caught between sleep and waking. That's all it was. I told myself that again and again, but by the fourth night, I stopped believing it. The whisper came earlier, before I even went to bed. I was in the kitchen washing dishes when I heard it behind me. My name again, just a breath, barely a sound, but unmistakable. I turned around fast. The kitchen was empty, and the light above the sink flickered once before going steady again. I stood there for a long time, listening. The apartment felt wrong, like it was breathing with me. I started leaving the TV on at night, thinking that maybe the noise would drown it out. But it didn't. The whisper came anyway, sliding beneath the sound of the late night talk shows. Sometimes it laughed, sometimes it cried. Sometimes it repeated things I had said earlier in the day, my own words thrown back at me in that same hushed, broken tone. I didn't tell anyone who would believe me. One night I decided to record it. I set my phone on the nightstand, hit record, and tried to sleep. Around 2 a.m., the whisper came again. I felt it before I heard it, that slow crawl of cold air on my skin. It said my name again, soft and stretched, and then whispered something new. "You're not alone." I couldn't move. My heart hammered against my ribs, every sound amplified in the dark. Then it was gone. When I played back the recording in the morning, I expected silence, but the whisper was there, faint, distorted, but real. My name repeated 3 times, and underneath it, a second voice, lower, deeper, saying something I couldn't make out. That was the night I stopped sleeping in my bedroom. I moved to the couch in the living room, thinking maybe whatever it was would stay behind that closed door. For a while it worked. 3 nights of silence. I started to think maybe it was over. Then on the 4th night, I woke up to find the TV on. I hadn't turned it on. The screen flickered, showing static, and in the static I thought I saw movement, a shape, a shadow shifting behind the snow, and then, through the white noise, I heard it again, that whisper. It came from the TV this time, clearer than ever. "Why did you leave?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. My throat was dry, my tongue heavy. The whisper grew louder, the static pulsing with it, and the shadow on the screen began to take form. A face, pale, hollow eyes, lips moving, whispering still. I ripped the plug from the wall. The screen went black, but the whisper didn't stop. It came from behind me. When I turned, there was no one there, just the darkness of the room, stretching deeper than it should have. I felt something cold brush past my neck, and every hair on my body stood on end. I left the apartment that night. I didn't even grab my things. I stayed in a motel across town, cheap and quiet. For 2 nights, I slept better. The whispers didn't follow me. But on the 3rd night, as I was brushing my teeth, I caught something in the bathroom mirror. For a split second, I thought I saw someone standing behind me, a blur, a shape watching. I turned and there was no one there. That night, as I tried to sleep, I heard it again, the whisper. It was faint at first, like wind under the door. Then clearer, "You can't run from us." I sat up, heart pounding. The motel room was cold, colder than it should have been. My breath fogged in the air. The whisper grew louder, circling the room, coming from everywhere at once. I ran. I drove through the night until the sun came up, not sure where I was going, just away. I stopped at a diner off the highway, ordered coffee, and tried to calm down. That's when I noticed the waitress staring at me, her eyes wide. "You okay, hon?" she asked. "Yeah," I said, "just tired." She hesitated, then leaned closer. "You've got something on your neck?" I touched it, cold, damp, like a handprint. I didn't say anything. I just paid and left. I moved again, this time across the state. A new apartment, new number, no connections. I didn't tell anyone where I went. I thought distance might help. For a few weeks it did. No whispers, no shadows. I started sleeping again. Then one night, around 3 a.m., I woke to the sound of breathing, slow, steady, coming from the closet. I stared at the door, my body frozen. The breathing continued, quiet but deep, and then came the whisper. "We found you." The door creaked open on its own. The darkness inside was thick, almost solid, and from that darkness something moved. I couldn't see it clearly, only its outline, tall, thin, head tilted unnaturally to the side. The sound it made wasn't quite words anymore, just that endless, broken whisper. I bolted from the bed, ran to the front door and flung it open, but the hallway outside was wrong. It didn't look like my building. The lights were dim, the walls darker, the air heavy. The whisper echoed through the hall, dozens of voices now, layered over each other. I ran anyway. The hall stretched endlessly, twisting in directions that shouldn't exist. Doors lined the walls, each slightly open, and from behind everyone came whispers. Some were crying, some were laughing, some called my name. I don't know how long I ran before I stumbled through one of the doors. Inside was my old bedroom, my bed, my books, the cracked window. It was exactly how I left it. Only the air felt heavier, like I had stepped underwater. The whisper was everywhere now. Then I saw it. A figure sitting on the edge of my bed. It was me, same clothes, same face, only my reflection looked wrong. The eyes were black, the mouth slightly open, whispering my name over and over again. I backed away, but the floor beneath me felt soft, like it was breathing. The other me stood up. Its movements were jerky, unnatural, like a puppet being pulled by invisible strings. It smiled. "You shouldn't have listened," it said. Then everything went dark. When I woke up, I was back in the motel. My phone was on the nightstand, recording. I don't remember setting it up. The screen was cracked, the battery low. I hit play. The first few minutes were silent, then came the whisper. Not one voice, hundreds. Layered, tangled, all saying the same thing in unison. "Now you're one of us." The recording ended there. It's been weeks since then. The whisper hasn't stopped. It's quieter now, more distant, but it's always there, just behind me, just out of sight. Sometimes I hear it when I close my eyes, sometimes when I look into a mirror. It says my name, sometimes it says yours, and sometimes late at night, when everything is still and silent, I think I can hear it through the walls, moving, crawling, spreading. Like a sickness, finding new ears to whisper to. If you hear it, don't listen, don't respond, don't even breathe, because once it knows you've heard it, it never stops.